video, and that means YouTubers are happy. Here we go. Begins in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, don't put your toe there.
Where's the white bread? For real this time.
The 9-minute birth. For real this time.
Netflix used to detect tumors. For real this time.
Still a stumbler, that one.
Oh, still almost made the same mistake. Yes.
Totally fine. Death metal makes us happy for real this time.
Making things with Bill.
Jury duty and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Its lush green leaves, some as large as your hand, are destemmed and washed and chopped into dozens of tender pieces. Now you know one of the reasons why Stouffer's vegetable lasagna is as good as can be.
The coffee that lets you be your best.
This is The Morning Stream. All your bays are belong to us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Morning Stream. It's TMS with Scott and Brian. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Yes. Hi. Did what Scott Fletcher said there need to sound so sexual?
So, did it seem a little sexual to you? Let's try it again.
This is The Morning Stream.
Wait, hold on. Let's try it by itself.
This is The Morning Stream. All your bays are belong to us.
Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, baby.
I think he says anything in that tone, and you can take things away from him.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's it.
You know, he has a special way about him, that Scott Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about his episode, or the episode that we talked a lot about him on your next top podcasting.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was an interesting thing last night, and man, what a fun group of finalists you have there, Brian, without giving anything away.
Yes, because it'll be, I think, a couple of weeks before the people listening to us here on this show hear the finalists. But, of course, if you're a Kickstarter backer, you'll get that, I think, by the end of this week or maybe early next week. So got to get everybody caught up so that the backers can vote in the finals.
Yeah, early access and all that.
That's right.
It's all very exciting. All right. Speaking of which, so this happens on Mondays. Just to give a little sausage making here. Brian has us all coagulate at 5:30 on a Monday afternoon.
Sausage coagulating. Man, this is.
So we have our judges there. We have our contestants there. We've listened to the offerings, and now we're going to judge them. All of that meat and potatoes happens on Monday nights, and most Monday nights just an unremarkable time. Everything's fine. It goes well. We record. We haven't had any big audio losses. Everything's great. No problems. Last night I didn't say anything to you or anyone else, but right in the middle of this thing, I electrocuted myself. And here's how I did it.
Okay.
Let's see if I can still. It's dark in here now, so it's hard to see it. But all right, so I have a UPS or not UPS, UPC. UPC?
Okay, it's an uninterrupted power supply.
Oh,
right?
UPS then. Yeah, UPS.
Yeah.
I don't say UPS very often in that context, so it feels like I'm talking about the shipper, UPS.
It does feel wrong, yeah.
Anyway, what a brownout can do for me is what you'll learn here. So right down here below my foot, my right foot is a UPS that is just humming away, doing its job. And I sometimes when I'm recording, I don't know about you, but you got stuff around. I sometimes fiddle with I shouldn't do this because people can hear, but I fiddle with my little AirPod case, and it snaps. I'll have other stuff handy, like I don't know, just things I'm always rubbing on. The corner of this table's always got like a little bit of a wear and tear on it because I kind of
I mess around with this challenge coin all the time, which is good because it's nice and quiet. But I also, it's funny because there's a thing you can get that turn your AirPod case into a fidget spinner.
Oh,
and
no
maybe
way.
that's what we need.
Is that true? Really? You just glue something to the side? Oh, that's crazy.
It actually is it's an outer leather protector case that has an inset spinny deal in it so that you can just go.
Does your case have dog teeth marks on it like mine do?
Mine doesn't, no. But it has some
too
weird pink, like magic marker or something. That's how I know it's mine.
It's lipstick from your mistress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my deal is that I often have something like that to fiddle with, but sometimes my feet do the fiddling. And yesterday, I happened to be in the office barefoot. I don't remember why, but I didn't have any shoes or socks on, so I'm just kind of barefooting it in here, which is never a great idea anyway, because I drop other things. Like the other day, just randomly, I found a non-mounted, see this here? What's this called? An X-Acto blade.
Oh, sure.
Found that on the
slightly
floor.
Off screen for me, but sure.
Yeah, I found that on the floor, and that's bad because you could jam that right in your toe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I'm sitting there, and my feet are nonchalantly, without me knowing it, because I'm not paying attention while I'm talking to you guys. And actually, it's while I was listening to one of Justin's critiques. Mm-hmm. I'm toeing or kind of fiddling with my toe. This is ironic because yesterday all that spam was about sucking people's toes. So how ironic is this?
Yeah. Well, ironic too, because in one of the interviews we find out that the person getting interviewed electrocuted himself right before the interview too.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. That didn't even occur to me. That actually came later, so this is one of the earlier ones. But Justin's talking. I have my mic muted, thank goodness. Because I'll do that between things. I don't want you guys hearing me breathe or whatever.
Sure.
And
that's nice.
So I'm down there fiddling with this power supply, and I don't notice that where my toe is where one of the contacts of a plug that's not currently plugged into a device, but just still in the UPS for some reason. It's just hanging loose. It's like a PC type plug.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of, without knowing it, pulling it up out of its socket with my toe.
Your bare toes.
Yeah, and getting up underneath it. And I made contact right in the middle of one of Justin's things and made this sound. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ah! That was the sound. And it freaking hurt, and I jerked back, and I almost fell over on this chair, and everyone thought I was dead, and it was bad. But I composed myself, got myself together. I think it was one of the ones where Justin started and I ended, so Nicole was still before me, so I had time to kind of get it together. So by the time...
How would you record it? Like how... Because if you muted yourself on your mic, do you record a backup or something?
No. I didn't hear I didn't record it. I just know that I made that horrible sound.
I didn't see you on the camera. I thought you... okay.
Oh, you thought I played it.
No.
No, that was me doing it in real time. Me recreating it. So... somehow though I was able to kind of compose myself, got it together. I was pretty freaked out for a minute because I thought, oh my gosh, did I just about kill myself? Like how much voltage is that, or amperage, or I don't know what you even measure anymore. And it was just stupid. Like who puts their foot near a freaking socket without thinking about it? And enough time passed that I just forgot about it and then didn't tell you guys at the end. But I fully meant to. By the end of that conversation, I should have said, hey guys, by the way, I electrocuted myself, and whatever. But by then I was over it because, we had intense competition yesterday. We were really focused on the thing.
Yeah.
But just so you know, I almost it would have been really funny if I incapacitated myself right in the middle of your thing, and you guys wouldn't have known because I was muted. So you'd just be going, Scott, are you there? Oh, something's wrong with Zencaster. We can't get him on the thing.
Exactly. I guess his microphone shut off or something. I wonder, can you hear us, Scott? Type if you can hear us.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Probably.
Chat room says it's measured in amps, but does anyone in the chat know is that supposed to be enough power to like take me out, or is it? I mean, obviously it didn't, but I always thought that like direct DC current like that was gonna, fry you. And I don't understand that kind of stuff. So
I don't know either.
Oh,
that's
Sam
probably
Jane
a
says
good
it's
thing for us to learn. That's a
Well, we like to learn.
Good thing. Yeah, exactly. Good thing for us to know is how much electricity can kill you. And should we have that right around us at all times on the floor that we fiddle with our toes and play footsie with? Play footsie with a power supply.
Yeah, let's do that. How about this? Answers.yahoo.com. That's always a great place to get real answers.
Oh, yeah. Boy, if you're looking for the honest truth, God's honest truth, as they say.
Yep. This is where you get it.
Yes.
Well,
it's almost like asking next door. The app, not the person.
Yeah, no. Don't ask the next door guy. It says here, if you're shocked by an electrical outlet, could you die? Here's the best answer. Depends on the path of travel of the current. If the current passes around or across the heart, there is a strong chance it can cause arrhythmias up to and including ventricular standstill and ventricular fibrillation. I can't say fibrillation.
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 Oh, fibrillation. Yes, fibrillation.
Because fibrillate. Don't fibrillate or you get a hairy face.
You'll blind if you fibrillate too much.
Yeah. Either of these rhythms are immediately life-threatening. Without immediate intervention, you could die. There's also a potential severe tissue damage along the path of the thing. Well, I don't seem to have any of that. Also, it says if the electrical current passes through the thoracic cavity, it can damage your heart or lungs. Ugh, I don't like this. Essentially, if your left hand touches the live current, your right hand is the grounding source. There's a great chance of death if your right hand is the contact point, and say your right elbow is the ground. Oh, interesting.
Well, and there's the thing that says, not the thing that says, but I mean, science says that if you are grounded, how does this work? It's basically if the current goes into you, it's okay. If the current passes through you, that's when it can cause problems. So as long as if you stick your finger in an electrical socket, you're okay, as long as your other hand isn't on a metal bar that's attached to your to the house or to the frame of the house or something like that. Isn't that the way it works?
Well, what's funny about that is that sounds almost counterintuitive, because you'd think that
it totally
getting
does,
it out of you would be what you'd want, but it sounds like maybe not. Like you want to keep it in your flesh ball, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm and Helico Logo.
Take me away, Helico Logo.
Enrico Palazzo in the chat room says, kind of. I know, yeah. I mean, it's not quite as simple as that. But if you're wearing rubber shoes and you get struck by lightning, you're okay as long as the electricity. If you're not standing on a metal plate or something.
Oh, same with cars, right? If your cars are, because your rubber tires to the road act as a
right.
What do you call that? Not a
grounding.
Is it a ground? Okay.
It's grounding, yeah.
I don't know electricity, dude. It's freaking still a mystery to me. It's all freaking black magic. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But
insulation. That's it. Insulation.
My favorite Yahoo answer on here is this one. This guy, Princess Marilyn, wrote. This was 9 years ago, so sock this away.
Oh, I hope she's still enjoying her reign.
It says to the answer to the question, if you get shocked by electrical outlet, would you die? She says, there's a good possibility you would, but not 100%.
That's it. Oh, thank you, Princess.
Thanks. Wow. I really, I've come away with so much information because of her.
Sorry, Mario, your princess is in another classroom.
I really love the idea of Yahoo Answers. I just feel like it's not great. Like the idea was better than the thing. Okay, how about this? Here's a question. Why do people hate Chihuahuas so much? Did you know that was a problem? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, well, it's because they're Mexican. And the cool thing is, the walls to keep the Chihuahuas out are much shorter and much less expensive.
Oh, they're no billions of dollars, maybe a couple $100 grand or something. Here's the top answer just 9 hours ago.
Just 9. Wow, this is fresh questions.
This is fresh. It seems okay. I'm trying to see. Why do people? Okay. There is no top answer. I'm sorry. These are just recent answers. This one doesn't appear to have a top accurate answer, but we have this. I seem to find that most people I have spoken to, they dislike the yappy side of them, and the fact that due to their size, they tend to be more scared and bite much quicklier than big dogs. And I'm not kidding. They wrote quicklier on there.
Quicklier. Well, sure.
Because they don't like dogs is answer number 2.
Yeah, because they don't like dogs.
Let's see. These are really...
Yeah.
Look at this one. Because they are totally useless wastes of flesh and bone. You have to puree at least 6 to get a decent meal.
Oh, jeez.
And you were kidding about the Mexican thing, but there are multiple ones in here where they say,
no, really?
They Mexican, I ain't touching them. Now, that could be just a troll. It probably is just a troll.
Totally could just be a troll. Yes, exactly.
This is the problem at the times we live in. We don't know who's being serious and who isn't. That's the problem.
Right.
How about this one?
All right.
Jess.
I love this, actually. I like this.
Yeah, this is pretty fun. Jess says because 90% of them are little piss devils. Never heard that.
Now, Princess Marilyn could take a cue from that. That is a percentage I can get behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little piss devils.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a fan. How about you? Like, are you a fan of little tiny dogs like Chihuahuas, Pomeranians?
I mean, if I see one, I'll go, "Hey, what's going on, little guy?" And then but I don't want to buy one. No, I don't.
Yeah.
You know why? They have to overcompensate for their size, so they are constantly high alert, pissed.
Yes.
Like this sound right here. That's enough to make him go. Like they just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the issue that I have with small dogs like that, is that they usually have a little bit of a Napoleon complex, and they feel like they've got to be a little bit more aggressive to compensate for their size.
Yeah, which I totally get why they would, but it'd be so nice if they would just chill out and be nice and sit in your lap and
Catch
relax.
me by my size, do you?
My homeness is. But then, like, you get bigger. The bigger you get, the sweeter and softer they get. Like, Izzy the pit bull wouldn't hurt a freaking flea. She's just such a big puss. And then you get to my neighbor's giant Great Dane. This thing's as big as a horse. Does not care about
Docile,
nobody.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No overcom. In fact, it's undercompensating. It's just like
You have to constantly remind it that it's a dog. Hey, you're a dog. You do some dog things.
It poops as big as an ottoman and doesn't care. It's just like, whatever, man. I don't need you. But yeah, little dogs are annoying. Here's another funny one. Hold on. Should I read that one? Maybe I shouldn't. Okay. Well, this one says, because they are made in Hong Kong. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Because they bite my ankles as if it was their last meal. I want to kick up a football like one. There are two that live next door. No period. There's some people who don't pay attention to what they're writing, and this really bothers me.
Yeah. Drunk answers on Yahoo Answers. It's almost like drunk reviews on Amazon. You know, if you omit the punctuation, the capitalization, and really putting a comma where a comma should be doesn't cost a penny. You can just do it. You can just put a comma there.
Right. And I also don't understand why so many of these questions are so, to me, just inane. Like, here's one. This is a recent one from 3 hours ago. Why is Michael Jackson so popular? Well, that's a dumb question. He was a pop singer who had a great success with music, and I mean, how hard is that's not hard to answer for yourself.
Exactly. It's somebody who's like trying either to stir up trouble or probably, possibly asking, in this current climate of that we're in with Think About the Children, how can Michael Jackson still be so popular?
The Think About the Children climate that we're in.
Yes, the Think About the Children climate.
I like it. It's like Ken Kratz's wife talking. Is what it reminds me of.
Right, exactly.
But like, here's some recent ones in entertainment and music. I'll give you the top, I don't know, 4.
All right, okay, good.
What would you do if pizza was made illegal? Well, that sounds like a dumb TMS question that you'd use for a quiz. Like, why is that on here? That's not a question. That's a stupid...
What would you do?
Yeah, these are...
Would you break the law and eat a pizza?
Remember the whole wisdom of crowds thing we were all pushing years ago? I think we were wrong about that.
Oh, yeah. The crowdsourcing, like how together we're all smarter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's true anymore. Maybe it still is, and I have a bias here. I don't know. But second one is, why does Trump golf so much when he's terrible at it? I mean, that's just
that's the question. That's like that's why they're scratching their heads about him golfing.
Yeah, it's really weird. Okay, why should we stop?
Could reply and say, so he can get better. I don't know. That's a.
Also, I mean, there's one. Do you smoke marijuana? That's not a question. That's just a yes or no. Like,
my favorite things on that. You follow that Twitter account, Best of Next Door, right?
Yeah, I do. I wish our local next door was worse. It's not. It's too easy. It's nice.
Yeah, I know. It's not as funny as as some of them apparently. I think you've just got to follow Florida Next Door to really enjoy it. But my favorite ones are the polls where the two answers are completely irrelevant compared to the question that's being asked.
Yeah.
Like it's does anybody know where I can find a decent babysitter?
Yeah.
And then the poll questions are yes and no. Like yes, I do know where you can find a decent babysitter. All right.
If you're telling me that heavy Nextdoor users are refugees from Yahoo Answers, I would believe you.
I would say that there's probably a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram.
Yeah. Here's one from 10 hours ago, and then we'll get out of the site forever.
Okay.
Ellen keeps getting her hair cut shorter and shorter. She's not as attractive anymore. Your opinion?
Jeez.
What kind of question is that?
It's like Meet the Press, or we're going to our correspondent in Kabul. What do you think of Ellen DeGeneres' short hair?
Yeah, it's just bad. Oh, and there are some people on here that all they do is answer questions, and there's like a top 10 answerer people. 26,508 top answers from one guy named Experto Credo.
Oh, jeez. Can you click on, can you see what his most recent great answer is?
Well, what's funny is I clicked him, and it gives me a list of like questions. I click it. It says nothing here to see. User activity is it's private. Answers nothing here to see. User activity is private. All right, well, whatever. That's no fun. What's the point of having your name there?
He's a great answerer, but you're not going to get to see any of his answers.
If you're going to show off your e-peen, show it off.
Right, exactly.
Whip out your e-peen and show it. All right.
Bet you $20 he puts that on his resume too. Listed as one of the top 10 answerers on Yahoo Answers.
Well, anyway, the whole point, which I don't know how we got there, I feel fine. I don't think anything really happened. It was just more of like a little zip, and I learned my lesson. I will never do that again.
I really wish it would have been recorded, though. I think that would have been great.
I mean, it was one of the only times on the show. I only probably muted for 2 pieces of the show, and that happened to be one of them. Usually I'm not muted. I think I may have eaten a potato chip or something. That's why I'm muted. But holy crap. It just made me... I don't know. My life flashed before my eyes.
A potato chip, Scott, or a bag of potato chips?
It was just a chip. Well, hold on. Let's see.
Bet you can't eat just one.
I have a hard time eating just one. I weighed myself this morning, and I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just kind of where I was. It's not more, but I just I'm not hitting my goals.
But it's also not less.
No, it's not less, which is really what I was hoping for.
Today for me is an unwitch day. I'm going to Jimmy John's, getting one of their turkey Tom sandwiches, no cheese, no mayo, wrapped in lettuce.
How far ahead do you plan this? Like, do you say, okay, Tuesday I'm doing this, Wednesday I'm doing this? Like, I mean this seriously, because I think that's part of my problem is I don't really have a plan.
Yes.
I just kind of
if you do think about it, I mean, basically when we make enough dinner. And we're doing that like sometimes Blue Apron, sometimes HelloFresh, whatever. And it's like these veggie meals or meals with grilled chicken or something like that. And if there's leftovers, then I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to do that. And sometimes timing is just right because Wednesdays and Thursdays are just massively busy for me. Yeah. So it's like, all right, those are the days that if we're going to have leftovers, I want there to be leftovers on Wednesdays and Thursdays so I don't have to leave the house.
Right.
And I can just go upstairs, eat the leftovers, and boom. But Tuesdays are a great day for me. Like, all right, hey, I've got some time. I can run out, grab something to eat, run a couple errands, and I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a Jimmy John's in a couple of weeks. I think I'm going to do that today.
Well, I need to think more like you.
But I do probably think about it a little earlier than I probably should. But I think there is something to that. I think if you wait until you're starving, you're going to go for the closest, quickest food, which may not be the healthiest option.
Yeah, I think that's correct, and I don't like that about me, and I want to change that. So today is a new day, and I'm gonna start fresh, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get her done, as the fake comedian says on stage. Get her done.
Very good. By the way, Sam Jane says I reached a goal weight today, so congratulations going out to SJ.
Oh, well done. Nice. I just need some goals and need to hit them. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey, a quick recommendation, and then we'll get to the news today, which we didn't do at all yesterday, so it's yesterday's news if you couldn't tell from the intro today. Got a couple trailers I want people to watch. These just landed today. Toy Story 4 trailer came out today. And I think it looks delightful and fun and awesome. So I'm totally actually now looking very much forward to Toy Story 4. Just when you think they can't find another childhood trope that you can totally relate to, they figure it out. And
well, this has to be with his little sister or who got the new toys. It was a new kid, right?
New kid, yeah. Her name's I forgot. She's this little kid. But the premise appears to be, this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, and I recommend watching the trailer, but the premise seems to be, like a lot of kids, and this includes me, you know the old joke, like if you buy your kid a really expensive thing for Christmas, and they end up just playing with the box that day?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's a little like that. She makes a toy out of a spork and some craft stuff.
Pipe cleaner.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, we saw that in the trailer where they're kind of circling around the camera in slow motion. We see that weird.
Oh, right, they had a
creation.
teaser. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The
anyway,
teaser, yes.
apparently that's the premise here, is that she's made her own toy, and that toy is just like a freakish reject, and all the toys aren't sure what to make of it. And anyway, it's a brilliant premise. I think it already looks delightful and wonderful, and it looks very Woody focused, which I think is good. So go watch the Toy Story 4 thing, and if you don't like that sort of stuff, then you're dead inside and don't talk to me. And then the next thing is Lucy in the Sky. Not with diamonds, just in the sky.
No, just in the sky.
It's,
but continuing the long train of movies that feature Beatles songs, Beatles lyrics in the titles.
And ladies in space. That's a very common trope these days.
Ladies in space. Ladies in space.
Did you see that combination of gravity and 127 hours that is that animated short in Love, Death, and Robots?
No, have not gotten to that one yet. I've only watched the first three, which is the robots in the junkyard, or surveying the Earth after the apocalypse, and discovering the cats. And
the fight one
chase.
at the beginning, the battle.
Oh yeah, and the battle, right? The little that one's great. I want a whole movie of that one.
Yeah, you're going to love. It just gets. I think it's more interesting and creative, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Cool.
It's like a gift. I feel like we have to be careful so that we can keep getting more of them.
I know. That's why there's part of me that's savoring them for that. Like, I want to use them as fill-in in between other things I'm watching, just as kind of like all right, I got 15 minutes, I'm going to watch one of these and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, I'm going to binge 5 of these all at once.
Yeah, and I just can't stop. I keep watching it. Oh, I got to watch this one. Ooh, what's this? Oh, that's a cool premise. I'll just keep watching it. They just keep taking all my genres and going poke, 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 poke. All the stuff
you like
I love.
this. Now watch this one. You like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, watch this one.
Yeah, you haven't gotten to the army base in Kabul with the army guys yet? Man,
No.
I don't even know what to say about that one. Anyway, the point is, it's awesome. And why was I talking about that? Oh, Lucy in the Sky. Sorry, it's Natalie Portman, I believe is her name. Natalia Portmando.
She's a black swan,
She is. Her
She's
and
a princess.
Mila Kunis had a moment in that movie. Anyway,
of course, that's the that's the memory of that.
It's an intense scene, with all sorts of sexy business happening. But anyway, watch that as well, because that's Noah Hawley's it's his directorial debut for a film. Noah Hawley, if that name sounds familiar, he is the showrunner for Fargo, seasons 1 through 3, and hopefully 4 coming soon. And also that, what's the Marvel show?
Legion.
Is also Noah Hawley.
Second season of Legion is just batshit crazy. I'm gonna drop an S-bomb because it is that crazy.
No problem. You got more in the chamber, so if you need to drop any more, you can totally let those out.
Okay, sounds good. And I think the third season is announced that the third season will be the last, so it will
tie
they'll
things
hopefully
up.
get this current storyline wrapped up, which is amazing.
It'll all end in Stark Tower and Tony Stark's office. I'm sure it will.
Well, with Fox. At midnight, Marvel gets all the Fox stuff. So
that's true. In theory, they have Legion now, I guess. But anyway, he's a very brilliant-minded dude who makes some really cool stuff. And if you haven't watched the Fargo stuff, it's so good. Oh my gosh, my favorite TV is Fargo. It's so good. So anyway, this is his directorial debut. It looks very interesting. John Hamm's in it. A bunch of other people you know and recognize. It threw me because at first I thought, oh, this is just the story of a lady who becomes an astronaut and she goes to space. And when she sees it, it's amazing. And it's all her life at home that we got to deal. It's not. It's a big old twist. And it gets real weird and very Noah Hawley. So I recommend checking that trailer out for Lucy in the Sky.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool. Excited about that.
Yeah, should be good. I'm excited about new movies. All right, check it out, everybody. Here's this.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
Hey, it's the news brought to you by...
By the way, that Noah Hawley also working on a Doctor Doom film.
Shut
so stay tuned for that.
Oh, I did hear about that, but then it went quiet and I never heard anything, so I guess that's still going.
He's still working on it.
All right.
Brought to you by Sean Harbin's newest comic, Transferred, F-U-R-R-E-D, is about a 12-year-old girl solving mysteries with her pet pit bull. It's like Scooby-Doo meets Nancy Drew, if Nancy Drew is a 12-year-old transgender girl. Come along for action and adventure in a tribute to 1980s Saturday morning cartoons. Find out more at bit.ly/transferred, and that's T-R-A-N-S-F-U-R-R-E-D.
F-U.
F-U-R-R-E-D.
All right, I love this story. You'll eat at Subway if you have to, right? That's the thing you'll do if you need to.
If I have to. It's my least favorite of all of the sub shop chains. I'll go to Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, Firehouse, all those places before I go to a Subway.
Where do you put Quiznos in there? Do you go there?
Quiznos would be closer to the top. I think I would put I don't know. I think I'd put Jersey Mike's at the very top. Jimmy John's probably closer to the bottom, Subway, but
right.
Yeah, I think I'd put Jersey Mike's and then Firehouse, Quiznos, and then Jimmy John's and then Subway.
I think my list goes Potbellies.
See, I don't have a Potbellies really close to me, so I can't count that one. But
yeah,
that
if you had one handier, that'd probably be number one.
It would be up top. Yeah, especially that Italian with the Giardinera.
It's racist. It's racist.
Oh, I want it now.
I want it now as well. Now that maybe that's what I do today. That's not really well, whatever. I lose weight if I just don't eat all day. But by that I mean if I just have 3 normal meals like a normal freaking human being, and then I stop grazing on there's a bag of shit I can eat.
Makes a huge difference.
That's it.
Here's the deal. Just start logging it all. That is the thing. If you start tracking all the stuff you eat and you look at it at the end of the day and say, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I a garbage disposal or a human being?
Well, here's the problem. Here's how I do that. I get up, I go, I'm going to do this today. What do I have for breakfast? Oh, a little thing of yogurt and a deal. All right, scan those, put that in. All right, sweet. We're like 200 calories is all. All right, cool. See you at lunch. Lunch comes around. Oh, yeah, right. I had the bar thing for snacks, so I'll put that in there. Okay, cool. Lunch comes around. Yeah, put all that in. All that goes out the window at about 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And I go, I don't care. Just give me 8 servings of whatever spaghetti Kim made. You know,
yeah.
I gotta improve my deal, dude. My deal, dude.
Have you asked Kim for help? It's like, I'm trying not to make it sound like, help me, Kim, please. But have you said, all right, I need you to help me help myself?
Yeah, no, we had this conversation this morning because I got off that scale and went, ugh. She goes, well, remember, you're fully dressed. I go, I know, but that's like 3 pounds. It's like, no, that's still stupid. Yeah, and she says, look, I'll help you. So she's literally saying what you're saying. She goes, I'll help you. We'll plan all the meals out. We'll do everything. And you just got to track it and this and that. And I'm like, okay. And then I came down here and made a show with you. So
there you go. See, look at that. So perfect timing. So yeah, you just need to, basically say, all right, and here's the other thing you can do. Instead of doing the 8 servings of the spaghetti, because I'm sure it's delicious, and the jambalaya and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Put your servings in your bowl, on your plate, whatever, and then immediately take the rest of it and put it in Tupperware and put it in the fridge.
You're so good at this part, this gamifying of it that you do, where it's there's things you do. You take it, you separate it, then you put the other back. Like, I just go, bruh.
Oh, there's more in the bowl.
I mean, I really do. I don't know. I've got some bad habits over the last couple of years, and it's just I gotta change it, because the impetus for my last weight loss was I got really sick for a while.
Yeah.
And so because of it, I was forced not to eat as much. And I was like, well, look at all this weight I'm losing. Sweet. Now I just have to maintain. Well, start
And they
feeling
say, and I haven't tried this. I should do this because it's really easy. But drink a full glass of water before you eat, and that'll help fill you up so that you have less cravings. And the whole thing is, oh my God, that's so delicious. I want to eat more of it. Not because I'm hungry, but because it was tasty. And I'm, I am public enemy number one when it comes to that.
At least you're just having some good self discipline right now.
Discipline, yeah, I'm having better self-discipline than I used to, but I'm still not.
Better than me. My sister has this thing where she's like, you just have to think of food as fuel. Just start thinking of it as putting gas in your car. You would never stand there at the gas station, and when the tank was full, just keep forcing more in till it's falling out.
Gas like pouring out of your car. Yeah,
just use what you need.
Oh, my car loves the taste of gas, though.
It really likes it. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, This is what I said. Kim says, I'll help you today. And I said,
Okay.
Okay, Raggy.
Okay, Kim.
All right, check this out. The Subway thing. I'm back to that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
A man made his own Subway sandwich at Subway and helped some customers before he swiped $20. So he literally went in there, sort of looked like an employee for a while, made his own food.
I was wondering what happened to the employees. Like, were they like knocked out in the back room or something? And he just
Well, here's the story. Authorities are looking for a man who made his own sandwich at Subway shop in northern Michigan, rang up orders for customers, and swiped $20 from the cash register before taking off. The Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office said the man told workers Saturday at the Subway inside a Walmart. Oh, it was in a Walmart, too.
It was a Walmart Subway, yeah.
They're the worst. Anyway, that he was an employee at another area Subway, so it said that he was being, transferred or whatever, and asked to make his own sandwich. The workers told him no, but he allegedly walked behind the counter and made it anyway. The sheriff's office said the man rang up several customers' orders and stole $20 before leaving. They're hoping surveillance footage may help identify the man. They're asking anyone who might know his identity to contact investigators. I just think that's a pretty bold move, Just go back there, make it, ring up a couple of people, help them out, and get out of there.
I'll bet if he would have, I wonder if you can go to like Goodwill and find old fast food restaurant uniforms.
Yeah.
Just show up and do this at any restaurant you want,
I wonder if they have a rule against that or not. Selling
their own. Because I know sometimes they withhold your last paycheck if you don't get your uniform back.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I guess that was true of Nick at Harmon's, the bread thing that he quit recently. They were super hardcore about getting his apron thing and his other stuff back. By the way, he would come home from that job just grumpy as shit every day. He just clearly didn't love it. And this new job at Red Wing, he comes home smiling, got a little whistle in his voice, just excited.
Oh, good.
It's awesome to see. I love it. Love watching him be happy like that.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes the right job.
Yeah, and he's 18. He's got dumb hair, and they love him and trust him. Like, he goes in there and is, because he's been on time every day since day one, and he doesn't even think about it. He's like, I'm just on time. And they're like, oh, you're great. We love you for that. Here's a key in case you ever need to open. Like, they've given the kid a key. You don't give that to some average 18-year-old for a place that sells $300, $400 shoes.
Yeah, no.
It feels good. So I said, keep it up. And he said, okay, Dad. He said, okay.
Okay, Raggy.
Okay, Dad. All right. Here's another story. A Houston woman. Cool. Not a huge stone woman. A Houston.
Literally nobody thought you said that.
No, they didn't. But now I did. And now I'm in trouble.
A huge stone woman.
Huge stone woman. How much is a stone if you're in Britain? If you weigh 2 stone, what are you?
20 pounds, if I remember correctly.
So 10 pounds per stone. So if
no, I'm sorry. I think a stone is 20 pounds. 14. Okay, 14 pounds. 14 pounds.
Oh, 14 pounds per. That's really what an odd, weird number. 14. This is why the metric's better, guys. Stone is 14. So what if somebody's 5 stone? You got to do all this math.
Right. Yeah. That's 70 pounds. Yes.
That's awful.
I am thinking of a score. I'm totally thinking of a score, which is 20. 20 years or 20.
Wait, 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was 87 years.
Oh, geez. Is it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
4 score and. Oh, so he was Oh, okay, that's right. That
There was a
the Gettysburg
that one's
Address.
burned into my brain because there was in Arvada when I was a little kid, 11 or 12, there was a nightclub 2 blocks from my house on the other side of Wadsworth called the Score -2.
Whoa!
And I said, that's a cool name for a place, the Score -2.
Mm-hmm.
And then my uncle explained, oh yeah, it's just an 18-year-old club. It's just basically saying 20 minus 2, 18.
Oh.
How old you got to be to go in that place?
Oh, that's kind of. I mean, it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the name. We had one here called the Dirty Triangle. Let's not get into it.
No way, really?
Yeah. I don't know. Wait, was it dirty something?
That can't be. Really?
Maybe I called it that. I'm trying to remember if it had another name because we drive by it all the time. It was called. Someone in Salt Lake helped me here. It was in Midvale, out by Cottonwood High School. I can't remember the name of it. We called it. I think we called it the Dirty Triangle, but I think that's just the nickname we gave it. But it was something like that, and their logo was like a triangle, upside down triangle, and it was all very suggestive. But
yeah, it certainly sounds like it. Holy cow!
The word on the street was though they had this amazing chicken salad there sandwich you could get. That's what people said. They'd say, "Oh yeah, stripper club, don't go there." But if you're looking for a good chicken sandwich, you could do worse. I'm like, really?
That's
chicken salad sandwich.
That sounds like somebody explaining why they go there to their wife, doesn't it? Like, honey, I'm not going there to look at boobs. They just have a really amazing chicken salad.
Honey, I don't read that magazine for its pictures. It's
right,
for the articles.
Just buy it for the articles.
Exactly. Yes. I think you're right. But people used to say that. It was an upside down triangle. You know what I'm saying, chat room? They're asking what that is. A triangle normally right side up is a flat base, point on top. This was that way.
Yeah.
Symbolizing the female
the vajayjay.
Vajurger. Okay? You guys know what's up.
Illuminati.
The Virginia. The Illuminati. Anyway.
That is something that they say about the Diamond Cabaret in downtown Denver. Oh, voted one of the best steakhouses in Denver. Yeah, nobody's going there for the steak.
Really? They do that? They say that?
Yeah.
Huh. I want to go into these places and see who. I don't know. Part of me is like, I want to eat that steak just to see. I want to try it.
Sure.
You know, see if it's as good as they say it is.
Tell you what, Scott, you come to Denver, you and I will go try the steak at the Diamond Cabaret, and we'll talk about it on the show.
The problem is I picture just like, you know, that place Tony Soprano had ownership in.
Yeah, bada bing, sure.
Yeah, that dump. I'm not into that. All right, Houston woman gave birth to sextuplets in 9 minutes. Now, giving birth to sextuplets is not a huge deal. I mean, it is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. It's a giant deal. But the big deal is that you'd usually do it over a very long, protracted period of time.
That's right. Yeah, you can only do 6 babies in 9 minutes if you've got a bump stock.
Right.
To help.
That's exactly.
She basically turned into an automatic weapon for 10 minutes.
Fuzzy bumper barbershop kind of deal going there.
That's right.
9 minutes. She did it. 9 minutes, sextuplets. Friday morning, 2 sets of twin boys and 1 set of twin girls were born of the same mother in 9 total minutes. The delivery took place at 4:50 a.m. Boy, nothing good happens at that time of morning. In the Women's Hospital of Texas in Houston. Hospital officials say all of the newborns are in stable condition, weighing at a range from 1 pound to 12 ounces to 2 pounds and 14 ounces. It's actually not bad. Usually they're much smaller and more preemie than
way
that.
premature. Yeah, exactly.
Mother is also said to be in stable condition and has already named the twin girls Xena and Zuriel. Xena, a part of this nutritious Zuriel. I don't know what I was thinking there.
Because when I was conceiving the babies, I was drinking Zima and cereal.
Oh, that's what's funny. One of these animated shorts, I think Steven brought it up yesterday, but one of them was called, in Death, Love, and Robots, it's called Blue Zima. Just throws me to hear the name Zima and not just think of that crap drink in the 90s. I guess it's back, though, now, right? You can get a Zima now?
Yeah, I have a 12-pack right around the other corner in the other part of the basement sitting there.
You like a Zima? You into it?
I do as a mixer for other things, like a gin and Zima I think is really good. A vodka and Zima is really good. I don't think rum and Zima is very good, though.
But Zima on its own, just not there?
Yeah.
It's kind of watered down or whatever.
Yeah, unless it is, like, ice cold. It's got to be like ice cold if I'm going to drink it alone.
Where do you stand? Drinking Zima alone is a sad idea. What do you what's your take on what were the fruity ones when we were growing up? Like
LaCroix
Bartles and James.
Oh, like the wine coolers.
Wine
sure.
coolers. How do you stand on wine coolers?
You know what? I had no problem in the day with wine coolers. I think Matilda Bay was my favorite of them, and the sad thing with Matilda Bay is it just tasted like Kool-Aid, man. There was no alcohol-y taste to them. Whereas you'd go with the Seagram's wine coolers, or the Bartles and James, or any of those, and there was a slight malt alcohol-y kind of taste to them.
Yeah.
But man, Matilda Bay, that stuff was the bomb.
Seagram's. What's his name? Commercials for those.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis did.
Seagram's.
Yeah. See, he'd be on the porch going, Seagram's,
golden wine coolers, playing his harmonica. I'm sure Demi Moore is saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of my husband."
He's so great. I can't
He's
wait
so
till I'm
great.
dating that much younger, much better looking Ashton Kutcher one day. She says to herself.
Yes, right.
Anyway, this lady is recovering. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, by the way, the greatest number of children born to one mother is 69 women. This belongs to a Russian woman. They are sturdy as shit. Probably didn't do that in 9 minutes, though. But 69 kids. I'm trying to think what that's like. That's got to be. I mean, what is she at the end of 69 kids? Are you just a hollowed out husk of a person? Are you just?
Well, they weren't. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many of those were they. How many of them were born in multiple births? I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. Your lower half is like a subway tunnel at that point.
Yeah,
it's
like
just, it's just constantly dropping. After about 20, you probably don't even have to push anymore, right? They just you stand up and they fall out.
Yeah, I don't even know what that does to a person. I kind of feel bad for her. I don't think that's fair. 69 is too many. Yeah. Stop it about.
And because she's a Russian woman, I am obligated to say too much hassle.
Yeah. Also, wait. Let's do the math.
Sure.
Let's even assume this woman had twins every time she gave birth.
Okay.
69 kids to one woman. That's still.
We can't assume that because it's an odd number, but I'll go with it.
Right. That's a good point.
Let's say she had triplets every time.
Because otherwise it would seem like she would have to have kids every year. If it was one baby per time, she'd have to have kids every year for 69 years. But
a little bit
or...
less than that because it'd be 9 months. So
yeah, but that's pretty close.
Every 4 years she could have 5 kids. Is that the am I doing the math right there?
Yeah. Let's see. So 5 kids per 5 years. So
right,
69 divided by 5. Wait,
right.
Where's the divided?
9 times 5, 45. So just under 4 years for 5 kids.
Okay, so in that case, let's see. All right, so what the H, dude? 69 divided by 5. It's 13.8 kids per what?
I don't know. What
How does that work? 69
I don't
kids.
know. What do you
I'm trying to figure out the frequency, so how old she would be.
Just divide 69 by 9, and then that's how many months.
7.66 months. So that can't be right.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, why am I having you do that? All right,
yeah,
so
why is that? 69 kids is
I'm
how
sorry,
many
multiply times 9 to get 9 months. Divide that number by 12 and you'll get the number of years.
So 69 times 9.
69 times 9.
Okay, 621 divided by what?
Divide that by 12.
12. 51.75.
There you go. So rapid fire, baby goes out, new baby comes in, is 51 years of straight baby making.
So she would have had to have started, though. I mean, her ability to have a child, probably 12. So let's assume she started having kids at 12.
Here we go. iCore found the information. This is great. 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. So it's all... Does that make all multiple births? So 16, that's 32, plus 21 is 53, plus 16, 69. Yeah, so she always had multiples. Okay. She's like having litters.
Did she live in Chernobyl, and did the kids all have one eye? And, I mean, no offense to any of them, but...
I was just in the uterus, and Vladimir says hi. He'll see you in 8 months.
It's my
He'll be out shortly.
It's my old friend Fred with an arm for a leg and a leg for an arm, or however it goes. I'm worried about what this woman's. Yeah. But anyway, whatever. Good luck to her. Thanks for the tangent, lady. Finally, this is interesting. Netflix, their algorithm that they use for, like, telling you what movies you want to watch and stuff.
Yes.
It's been repurposed to detect tumors. Researchers have repurposed a Netflix algorithm designed to predict user film preferences to assist with biological image analysis. The algorithm can be used to assist clinical applications such as tumor detection or tissue analysis. Scientists at the Optical Society, well, that sounds devious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Optical Society say that the new method is faster than traditional methods.
Now that you've enjoyed a meningioma, you might like lymphoma or chordoma.
Let's see. Oh, the Netflix algorithm fills in data gaps during Raman spectroscopy. Ramen.
Ramen. What? Let me
like
see. I'm
ramen?
sorry. I was too busy googling types of tumors.
Yeah.
There it is. Ramen spectroscopy.
Never heard of it. My ramen just goes in the microwave. I don't know what this is all about.
That's much more expensive kind.
Anyway, it's tons of data. So this algorithm is apparently making this much faster. So really all this, you know what the story is? It's to jump out at you because it's like, oh, the thing that helps you with Netflix is also doing this. But it's really just math applied to another problem.
Right.
It's just complicated computer math and processing applied that works well in one case that is now being applied to another problem. And I say great, but it's not really
which is
news.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's still a very interesting fact that Netflix was able to come up with something that is that advanced that it can be used for medical applications and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'd expect more algorithm that was used to detect tumors also discovered to work for figuring out what movies you'd like on Netflix.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be the other way around.
You would. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get Bill all up in it, see what's going on. He just finished up a stint over there at the Emerald City Comic-Con. So I don't know how much time he's had to make anything, but he'll probably tell us a little bit about that. Always fun to talk about.
He has made something that's really cool, and I can't wait to hear him talk about it.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Busy boy McGee over there.
That's right.
And then Jury will be on to address a very specific email that we got after last episode. If that doesn't make you want to hear it, I don't know what will. Brian will now take us into the break with a song. What do you got there?
Here we go. Yes, so George wrote in. He's also known as Fun Punchy in the Tadpool. Says, "Hey, Scort and Bam. I was recently asked to play lead guitar for a band after years of just playing alone at home. The Tadpool, with all of its creative members, was a large part of why I decided to accept the offer and start chasing my dream. I'm finally taking what makes me happy and turning it into a bigger part of my life. Not quitting my day job, though." Signed, George. So he obviously gave us permission to air this. This is great. This is a band called Rob Banks.
Really? Is it a guy? Is just a guy named Rob Banks, or is it a?
I'm hoping so. I hope it's a guy named Rob Banks.
Okay.
But love the band name. Brand new song. It's coming from their self-titled debut album, which came out last year. And the song is called Ghost. Here is Rob Banks.
We'll see you on the other side.
The Soviet Union called this shuttle mission the first step in President Reagan's Star Wars concept. It charged the U.S. wants to make space a battlefield.
Gas X got rid of the gas.
The Morning Stream. Smooth, flowing, and unbroken.
We're back, everybody. Welcome back.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. Thank you for coming back and staying with us and paying attention and being patrons and people who pay attention to what we have to say every day. You know, I sometimes think it's a real chore to keep up with the Daily Show. And I want to make this really important note here. You don't always have to have every single episode under your belt. You can take a couple days and do something and come back. We'll be here waiting for you is the point.
Yeah. Yeah, don't. This goes out to the people who feel like overwhelmed by the amount of content that we put out and say, "No, I've got to give up on all of it. Goodbye."
Yeah.
So don't worry. Take a couple days off and come back, and we'll still be here. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Our continuity is not so tight that you're gonna miss something when you come back. Like,
no, there's no storyline to keep up
this?
with. Yeah.
Who was this Florida man character that somehow got introduced while I was gone?
Yeah, this doesn't really happen. You might miss a meme or two, but it'll catch up to you. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we're telling people this, but once in a while I think it's important just to remember that we're not trying to punish you. We just want you to come and hang out and be with us. All right, I'm going to call Bill, and we're going to then play a thing like this.
But Bill just isn't thinking about danger.
No, he's thinking about his good times at the fantastic Emerald City Comic-Con that just ended. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing great. Emerald City was so much fun.
Was it?
You guys should go.
Yeah, I hear every year someone tells me how great Emerald City Comic-Con is. But also a couple people this year told me that your city smells like pee right now. Why is that?
I didn't smell any pee. That's a lie, actually. No, part of the park.
Asparagus harvest.
Yeah. I did walk through part of the park, and if I had to guess, I would say the previous night someone peed in that area.
Yeah.
But not the whole city.
No. What I've heard is that San Francisco and Seattle are becoming more and more pee covered. And
really?
I asked why, and I guess some say, well, at least my friend that I was talking to in San Francisco said
it's from Yahoo Answers, by the way. Is that where this information
Although
came
my
from?
friend is a bit of a Yahoo, if that helps. But anyway, he says it's because the homeless situation is so bad right now that a lot of people are just peeing everywhere. And I don't know if that's a correlation to what might be happening in Seattle or why I brought it up at all. But there it is.
I'll be honest. I saw a honey bucket just like on the sidewalk.
Great.
So there may be some credence to this.
By the way, it sounds like such a great thing until you realize, oh no, that's a porta potty.
It is.
Yeah. So maybe there is a little bit of truth to this nugget. Then they're putting out porta potties so people can just pee in there instead of on the street.
So my brother, when he came to Korea, the big talk then, I'll never forget this. Everybody always said that if we hadn't adopted him, this is in the early '80s, mid '80s. And Korea was a very different place. They really didn't like their not refugees. Their what do you call when you're a kid and your parents abandon you and now you live in an orphanage? Orphan. They didn't like their orphans. It was a big social no-no to be an orphan. And so what would usually happen is my brother Matt would have, after he left the orphanage, would have gotten a job as what they called a honey bucket carrier.
Oh no!
And literally, what it was back then was a piece of bamboo over your back and 2 buckets, one on each end, and you would wander the streets, and a guy would wave you down and give you some coin, and then you'd plop down the buckets, and he'd take a dump right there in the middle of the street, and then back up on your shoulders and walk until you find the next person that needs your bucket. How fun does that sound?
Wow.
Yeah.
No fun.
Not at all. I will never complain about one of my past jobs again.
Well, good. Well, in that fun note, let's talk about what you've been doing. I know I had said before all this that, hey, he's been too busy with the con, and Brian said, oh, no, he's working on something. I can't wait to hear it. So how did you have A, how did you have time, and B, what is it?
So we filmed 3 videos before the con because we like to overcompensate. I'm not sure how we did all that, actually. Now thinking back, it's all just kind of a blur. But I made a paint booth for my shop.
Okay.
This is kind of a contained box-like area with one face of it removed so that you can access the inside of the box. And it keeps any paint that you might spray out into the air, it keeps it contained, and it keeps it from getting on all of your stuff. It also keeps it away from your face so you don't breathe it in, which is very useful.
Look at that thing. That's
So
cool.
the one I built is really built for like light airbrush work. This isn't a giant industrial machine. I'm mostly going to use it for airbrushing acrylic paints. It'll collect all the paint, and there's a fan in there to pull everything away, pull the vapors and air away. If you're going to make something a little bit more robust for like industrial work, you would build something a little bit less flammable. You would there's a bunch more required. I just want to point out that if you're doing a lot of heavy spraying work, you're going to have to get a much more robust machine. But the one I built just for like airbrushing, hobby use, home use, For larger stuff, if I'm spraying a lot of spray paint, I still go outside. Those spray paint cans especially release a lot of vapor that you don't want to breathe, and particles that you also don't want to breathe and you don't want to get all over your stuff. So that's why I made a paint booth.
Oh, very nice. This seems very useful and multi-use, this thing. You could use this for all kinds of stuff.
You certainly can. There are a couple of things that you need to consider, things that this machine needs to do. It needs to contain the overspray, so you have to have a box that's deep enough so that any spray that hits your piece and like kind of floats off doesn't flutter away. It's gonna trap most of that.
Yeah.
And then you need a way to pull the particles and the vapors out of the air. So when you spray your paint, the particles are the actual paint. It's a tiny droplets of liquid that are floating through the air. The vapors are whatever your accelerant is, or whatever your solvent is.
Yeah.
So if you're spraying lacquer out of your airbrush, the air is fine. It's just pulled out of the air. But there's lacquer thinner in that. You don't want to breathe that. So you got to have a way to pull that out of there and trap it. So I built mine with a big old fan and a hose that pulls the air through a filter, just an air filter I got from the hardware store.
You still you'd wear a mask anyway, though, right? Like when you're doing
and especially if you smell any vapors at all, whenever you're working on stuff, put a respirator on with the correct cartridges.
Yeah, because the smell of vapor is literally vapor. Right? Like,
right. Yeah, if you're smelling vapor, then you're taking in vapor.
Yeah.
Vapor going in you.
Yeah, you're neither taking nor leaving vapor. Got it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. This was something that listener Clark Moore told me about, pointed me to your video, and he and I are probably going to work on these, not together, but parallel. Like, he's like, I'm making this weekend. I'm probably going to make mine not too far. I'm not going to go as, obviously I don't need the stand because I don't have a little rolly cart. This will probably be a thing that'll go under my workbench in the garage until I need it, and then I'll put it up on top of the workbench.
Yep.
But super cool.
Yeah. Really it really is. It allows you to do more with what you're working with, because you have an area that's clean for paint, that's separate from everything else, hopefully not very dusty. So you go over there, fire up your airbrush, and do your painting.
Would you say would you say this is a similar? I don't know, the way you're constructing this, and as I'm watching this video, it strikes me as a good setup or a good basic design for a light box as well.
You sure could use it as a light box, although remember that over time it will get covered with many different colors of paint.
Yeah,
which might be a really cool backdrop for taking cool photos or something.
Sure, but I mean, I guess you could make a separate one, I suppose. But
now, Brian, you're talking about making a smaller one. You could build it out of. I use that corrugated plastic for the walls.
Yeah, just the corrugated plastic and duct tape.
That's. You really just need a box with a hole in it. You can put a hose on it. And if you're spraying airbrush paints, right, out of an airbrush, they're acrylic paints. They're not flammable. This is very important. You don't have to worry too much about causing something like a fire. But you do need to remember that if the fan that's pulling the air, if the air is pulled over the motor of that fan, and that motor is creating sparks, and you're spraying something that has a flammable liquid or flammable vapor like lacquer, then there could be a problem. So in the video, I talk about picking a good fan. A furnace blower is pretty good. Something where the motor is separate from the fan part and there's a belt that runs it. Or they also make sparkless motors now, which I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So just some things to keep in mind. Something you may not think about when you're getting your airbrush out.
Yeah, see, I've got an airbrush, but I don't have a compressor anymore, and so this would primarily be for spray paints.
Yeah, and that's with a small box like that, spray paint can overwhelm it very quickly. Those little bits of spray paint
because it's heavier.
Yeah.
Brian,
and that's why I said most of my spray painting I still do outdoors.
You should just blow. Okay. You should just blow. You should be the compressor.
You can do that. You can totally do that. It works.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I knew guys in art school who just had to do some touch-up work, and they would put the end of the hose in their mouth and just have a.
Would they ever accidentally suck instead of blow and then get a mouthful of paint?
No, a lot of them sucked anyway, but.
I added a couple more features to mine. So I added some lights, which helps to see when you're painting, which is very nice. I added some hangers across the top of it, so when I'm painting something, I can hang it up with a wire, or once it's drying, or when I'm painting it, I can hang it up. And I also have a Lazy Susan in there, so that if I have a bigger thing, I can set it on there and rotate it as I paint all the sides on it.
Yeah. Do you have to pay her, or she's volunteering her time being lazy?
Oh, the cat?
So you don't. She just does it for free because
Oh,
she's
lazy.
Yeah, the Lazy Susan. It was just a bad dad joke that I had there for you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you hang stuff, that's what, because certain things you don't want to lay down and have. You want to get the whole thing in one shot, sort of thing. Okay.
Well, usually you can lay something down, paint one side, let it dry, flip it over, paint the other, or save yourself some time, hang it up, and you can paint both sides at the same time.
Wow. Yeah, look at this. When did you have time to do this between all this? I guess maybe you did this earlier. When did you do this?
About a week and a half ago.
Okay, so this is
tell me that the hanger, the top part of the hanger, sticks out of the box so you can rotate it without having to touch the inside hanger of the box.
In the current version, it doesn't, but in my old painting area, I had this hook thing that did rotate on a bearing.
Yeah.
I just haven't installed that yet. Actually, I forgot I had that, so thanks for the reminder. I'll install that today.
Hey, what do you know these things? Sorry, these clamps you put on what's that stuff?
It's a hose clamp.
It's called a hose clamp. Okay.
Yep.
Why is this? I'm having an ASMR satisfying moment here watching you screw those tight, and I don't know why.
Okay. I don't know either.
It's super satisfying. Like, there's something about watching that go and seal it.
You should go outside and work on your sprinkler system, because whenever you get a hole in your sprinkler system and you have to cut out part of your sod and get down to that thing and cut out a chunk of sprinkler hose and then replace it. Oh, it's all hose clamps all the time down there.
All right. So
I get no ASMR from that. I get PTSD from because of all that.
That's a good point. There's something about watching Bill use the right tools, I guess. I don't know.
But I'm totally on board with those inset angle screw things. The pocket
screws.
Yeah, that looks like such the way to go now.
Yeah, it's super fast and easy. And for shop furniture, like I'm not doing dovetails for my spray booth, you guys.
Yeah.
Don't let Nicole and Mark Spagnolo see me using one of those, but I think for something like this, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I think it got cut out of the edit, but at one point I did whisper, "Don't tell Mark."
Well, I like that it's so. I like a little Mad Maxery to my construction, and clearly you've gone that way. Like while watching you attach this stuff, it's like, I mean, not haphazard. Clearly, this is a designed project, but there's something I like about just nailing shit to things.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like you're having to do a lot of measure twice, cut once.
No.
It's like, all right, measure, done, cut, screw. Drill, paint, done.
It's almost like I built it in a day and a half.
Yeah. Well, it looks really good. I like it a lot. Cool. Go check out this video. It's the latest and greatest over at punishprops.com, and of course the YouTube channel at punishprops. Tell us, you always leave us a little treat. What do you got there?
Got one. This is Sculpture Geek on YouTube, and he did a sculpt of Fox McCloud from Star Fox.
What?
He is a crazy talent. He loves video games. He does sculpting in Chavant clay, and he's a wizard. And his videos are very cinematic and fun to watch.
Oh yeah, look at. Ooh, I like his. Just his intro is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. The Star Fox, you guys. Do a barrel roll, exactly. Where's Slippy? Somebody get Slippy. I don't even like Star Fox as a game, but I always loved it as a cultural touch point. Like just a silly thing to make fun of. Oh, look at this. He's using tinfoil?
Yeah, building an armature to bulk up some of the mass so he's not just putting a big old wad of clay on there.
Oh, that's a great idea. What if that's a very pliable way to do that? Because if he decides he's a little fat on his side, you can still mush that in and it will conform.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you watch him sculpt too, look at how long he spent. Most of the build the sculpt he works with his hands, and he gets all of his very basic forms blocked out with just his hands, and you can tell it's Star Fox even before he grabs any of his tools.
Yeah, there's a thing they used to teach us in art school, and even before that, that was always seemed important, and I still struggle to master it, but shape, like a recognizable shape as the thing you mean it to be, whether that's a caricature or like this, a character or anything that our pattern recognition brains see. If you can achieve that with a simple shape first, 90% of your work is done, because then the rest is just detail. Because you're right, like looking at the husk of that thing, I'm like, oh, he's making Star Fox. So now it's just a matter of him making it a really polished, finished Star Fox. Wow. It's very impressive. I love sculptors are the bomb. They really.
Like if I was able to do what he's able to create at 3 minutes, not even the full 8 minutes and 45 seconds, I feel really proud of myself.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
Jeez.
I just bought a bunch of clay. I want to go.
He's got a handful of videos out on his YouTube channel, and he's a wizard, and everyone should go watch him.
He also has really nice close-up photo or filming going on, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if he gets a manicure before he does this.
I think about that. There's so many shots of my nasty looking nails on the internet now. I don't even care anymore.
Bill's knobby fingers. Yeah. All right, we'll go check all that out. And of course, Chimbeard on Twitter, punishprops.com. Bill, it's always good to talk to you, and we'll see you next time for something even cooler.
You got it.
Okay, bye now.
See ya.
All right. Okay, I gotta fix Brian's camera. There it is.
It
only happens when Bill comes on. I don't know why. It's really weird. All right, Justin Robert Young in the house. In his house. Doing what he do, son. Here, I should play his thing. Where is this thing? Gosh dang it. Nothing's right. Oh, it got moved. Weird. All right, well, here it is.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young, are you there?
Hey, what's up, fam?
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Nice to hear you. How are you today? How's your day?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I for whatever reason, XSplit is not showing up on my my thing and Discord, which is great and works for everybody. My Wirecast virtual camera in a way.
You know what? But you sound good, and we can hear you, and I think that is the bare minimum that we need is for you to
loving life.
Yeah. I'll take whatever we can get. And it turns out what we can get is Justin Robert Young. He takes time out of his Tuesday mornings and sits down with us and chats with us about various things. Sometimes it's political, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just us shooting the shit. Sometimes it's just calling me on stuff, which is always fun. I don't mind that. It's a good education for me every week. And Justin, this week is kind of funny that way because we got somebody who emailed us after the show last week, and I sent you this email, said, hey, is this anything we wanted to talk about on the show? And you said yes, but I could tell you were like slightly frustrated by it. And maybe I don't blame you, I don't know, but we're gonna read it. Let's just make something of it. All right, I'm gonna read it.
Yeah. Oh no, totally. Yeah. I'm all on board. All right. Before we get into the email specifically, I have a general question. Like, does this segment generate a lot of email, or like I don't know how much you're just processing and because very rarely do you send me emails. So I don't know whether or not this is the first email that's come in about this segment, or if you shield me from a lot of negative email, or you're hiding praise from me. Like, I don't know.
No, it's most of the time. I'm trying to think. I mean, so if I had to rate the number of emails we get from people in terms of feedback for guest appearances, you and Wendy get the lion's share. Wendy gets the most, and
that's good because Wendy's is actually she's soliciting email. There's no point in which I say, all right, guys, give me your feedback.
That's right. Yeah, Jerry's not helping anybody.
Right.
So.
Right.
So, you're not forever or die tomorrow in my world.
You're not here to help anybody, but for whatever reason, I mean, but I also think it's obvious why you do, because a lot of the topics that we talk about are controversial, but not all those emails are like, Justin's wrong. It's a lot of them are, Scott, you're wrong, or you guys are both missing the point of this thing, and it's usually much more about the issue we talked about and not about us.
Yeah. Very often, whether or not you're asking for people's opinion, whenever you talk about politics, what many people hear is, give me your hot take. I know you've been thinking about a thing. tell me about your opinion,
Yeah.
whether or not you've asked for it. But it's always good. I mean, it certainly is great for feedback on the politics show and everything.
Yeah, of course. So, and I like it, and we encourage it, and people should send their stuff. But it's not that common that we get something where somebody's criticizing one of us. That's pretty rare.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so
this is a rare one down the old.
Oh
assembly
yeah,
line.
I don't every week get emails from people. I do have one guy who, okay, I can't say who it is, but I have one guy who every week texts me all the things he thinks that you said wrong. But that's a different issue. That's just somebody who says a lot of things on a phone. Anyway, so
and that person's name is Tom Merritt.
No, it's not Tom Merritt, and it's nobody you know. It's just a person, and I don't know why I even. Well, it's a long story. Well,
my DMs are open. So hit me up,
open those DMs. Anyway, so here's the breakdown. This comes to us from. I'll just keep him anonymous. I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants us to. But the subject is JRY, jury. By the way, when I write jury, I type JURY every time.
I do too. Yeah, I put a lowercase u. I'm like pedantic about that. It's like
that's kind of how I've branded it because it is the actual word and
Robert Young.
Justin Robert Young.
Yeah,
but certainly JRY's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. It says this. Here's the message. I love the show, but jury drives me insane a lot of the time. Because he's always trying to talk you down from a legitimate and justified rage. He's always trying to say, why are you focusing on that? Or he wants you to focus on that. Or why is this a big deal? It's always like this. Or both sides do this. Or this is a preformative outrage. Okay, he's wrong. There are lots of things you should be angry about, and he shouldn't talk you down. But whatever. He's his own person. He can both sides whatever he wants. But I'm hoping you can ask me or him for me if there's anything he feels is worth being enraged over enraged over. Is there anything, any topic, any group of people being abused where he doesn't say both sides or doesn't get worked up over that or says don't get worked up over that? Is there anything he cares enough about to take an actual stand on? I'm really curious. Please ask him for me if you could. Thanks. Love the show. Well, persons whose name I won't give, we're literally asking it on the air. So, Justin, your take on such a thing. Because I'll tell you, before you answer, let me tell you my take when you come on the show and I'm upset about a thing and you say something like, well, what'd you expect him to do? Let's use that as an example. Like Trump does a thing that super pisses me off and you're like, well, what did you think he was going to do in the situation? Suggesting to say, well, of course he reacted that way. Why is this a surprise? If that's what this person's talking about, I think this isn't the kind of show, or this wouldn't be much fun of a segment if we didn't at least, like, if you didn't have an honest difference of opinion about somebody's behavior that I'm upset about, that's not a fun show. Like, if you're just in here going, yeah, well, then what are we even doing? And I'm not saying you come on here to make sure that we have contradictions. We agree where we agree, but I guess what I'm asking that listener, or what I would ask that listener back, is like, what do you actually want out of the segment? Do you want me to be enraged about a thing that Justin disagrees that I should be enraged about and then not tell me and instead just agree with me for the sake of sounding like you agree with me? Like, I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. So that would be my response, as limited as that is. What is your response to this email?
Well, there's two sides to it, and the first part is what you were talking about, which is, well, what are the expectations for this segment? And this is a little bit of a fourth wall breaking thing. So we're going to, congratulations, emailer, make a less interesting segment today. Asked us to talk about the segment instead of just doing the segment.
Yeah.
But in general, I think I agree with Scott on 99% of the stuff that he's talking about politically. Like, the funny part about it is that, look, I don't know how much this guy knows about my work outside of this segment, but I do a political podcast. I have every year revealed exactly who I am voting for, from dog catcher locally to president of the United States and everything in between. I've been very open about who I voted for and how I've done it, and I've been about as transparent as anybody can be who talks about politics professionally. about where my opinion is. However, opinions are like assholes. They mostly reside on the internet. So I don't, I don't think that me just saying my opinion, at least in the way that just plain as fact, is necessarily going to make an interesting show. So I would rather do a thing that I do know I'm good at, which is trying to look at things in the way that I looked at them as a reporter. And as a reporter, I will tell you this. If at times I come off as contrarian or devil's advocate-y, it's because the biggest professional embarrassments I have had, the times where I have felt that I was way over my skis and I wound up being wrong on something, or something went out in a newspaper or in a podcast or in a television show that I was writing that was wrong, was bad, was at times maybe even edging on the realm of legally actionable, was
slanderous.
Was when I was too sure of myself. So it is inbred within me that whenever I think something, I need to show the work. I need to make sure that the math is correct, and I need to take effort to try and understand it. This is a part of who I am, and I think it's a part of what makes these segments, specifically since the election, interesting. In that, look, I know the both sides thing drives me up a wall, because I get it, man. If you just want to be mad, that's fine. And guess what? Congratulations. You won. You're the entire media. You are every place to taste exactly what you want to be mad about. You can be mad about people on your side. You can be mad about people on the other side. You can be mad at people who don't think that there are sides. You can be mad at people who believe that there are a lack of sides, and you want to create more sides, and we need more divisions. Don't worry. There are plenty of places for that. I don't know how much I serve as being somebody that is another one of those, as a guy who just wants to jump up and down and scream his opinions. I think that the biggest thing, the biggest feedback that I get from this segment is that people appreciate being able to, I think that there is an element, talk about performative. There's a performative element of this segment wherein Scott is very angry and I give context to the situation. And whether or not Scott calms down or not, or remains angry throughout the entire thing, is a performative, I believe, relatable element to what a lot of people are going through since a very tumultuous time in our country began in 2015 and through the election. I think it is helpful. I think it is more akin to the route that we are going through. Now, if you don't want me to do that, I don't know what to tell you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what do I believe in? And that, to be honest, is what I find insulting. Like that's something that really depresses me. Because all I do, and if there's one thing that I think anybody who has listened to me talk knows for a fact, is I am an open book. There are not many questions that I will not answer as honestly as I can. In fact, really, at this point of doing this for over a decade now, the only lines I have are other people's secrets, and I often tread on those because I
yeah.
Like, if you want to know what I care about, again, my DMs are open, dude. Justin R. Young. You can talk to me privately. I've given out my email publicly on the internet for over a decade. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. You can please hit me up in any way that you want. If you want to ask me about a thing, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you think that I'm going to come out here and just tap dance and say, well, I really care about the kids and the whales and paying the teachers and doing that. No, I'm sorry. Like, there's no element of my life that I've cordoned off. If you want to ask me about a thing, that's fine. But to think that I'm just this soulless automaton who only actuallys on this show, or even more cynically, that I'm trying to tamp down a righteous moral outrage, and I'm getting in the way of true progress, which is, of course, personified by a red-faced Scott Johnson screaming about Twitter, then you want to know what? Guilty as charged. Yeah, I am the one. I'm jumping in front of that bullet that otherwise would have solved the world's problem.
Right. I mean, I think first of all, I think well said. I think it's not fair to say, like, here's the thing: when the things I get upset about and outraged about are, I think, legitimate things for people to get mad at. I think that I would do better if I was a little less, and I don't mean this just on the show. I mean in general, if I was just a little less making it so personal. Like I really internalize something like kids being locked up on the border, or families being separated and we can't find them now, or a million other crappy things Trump has done, saying things in campaign videos that sound very anti-Muslim, and then now he's acting like, oh, I don't know, you can't tie me to the anti-Muslim sentiment, or you can't say that, whatever. In the wake of that New Zealand thing in particular, like, I internalize that stuff so bad. And I've said this on the show before, and it's something I'm trying to work on, but I internalize it so bad that it's just, it's mentally unhealthy for me, because I worry about people I can't help. I worry about situations I can't control. I should use that energy to do something for good where I can, where I have reach and that sort of thing. And so a lot of times what happens is on Tuesdays, this is a great place for me to just have an afterburner, for me to just go and fart it all over the wall. And then it's weirdly therapeutic for you to come in and go, all right, well, let's break it down. Let's look at the
analyze
math.
it, and let's look at the other perspective.
Right. And let's look at the math of it. Like, let's look at the practicality of it. Like, that's, I think, a valuable thing you bring to the show, not just for my own personal good, but, it's a part of it that I think is good. Now, there are going to be people out there that still say, no. I want to know where Justin stands on these sorts of issues. And like he says, I think the way to do that is maybe to reach out to him and actually just talk to him about it.
Or listen to my show. I mean, I literally do nothing but talk about this. This is
right.
this is a personal internet problem that I have, and this is beyond politics, but it is typified with politics.
Yeah.
Is that I hate when people say, oh, what's your label? What are you? Are you a liberal? Are you a conservative? Are you a progressive? And I'll be like, look, I literally talk about politics for... at this point, 6 hours a week.
That's a lot.
But I talk about it publicly a lot. If you want to know my opinion, you can find it out. I'm offering it to you for free. So, but if I tell you, I'm a this, that, or the other, then you're not going to get all the context.
Right.
You're not going to understand where I'm coming from. You're going to understand what you think about that term. You're going to understand what you think about that vote. You're going to think of what you think about whatever those things are. And I'm sorry, I refuse to give you that contextless element to do whatever you will with. Right. Like, if you want to know, you can. It's there. Look, you can look up literally a cheat code. Just go back to the episode before Election Day, as long as I've done either the jury show or the politics show, and you will hear me go through exactly who I voted for and exactly why I voted for them. But if you can't be bothered to do that Google,
right,
if you can't be bothered to hit that play button, then why do I want to trust you with something that obviously you're coming in a hostile perspective because you want to know whether or not you agree with me or you disagree with me?
Right.
Like, I don't see where, if you want to be a part of the community, if you want to be a part of this thing, we've got people from all over the spectrum that listen to the politics show. And you certainly have people from all over the spectrum that listen to this show.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. Then join in, be a part of the team. But I would probably be a bigger a personality if I did the, like, well, I'm a blank and you're a bad person. That would be better for my career. It would be better if I did that.
Yeah.
But I don't like to, because I find it gross and weird. And to be totally honest, if I'm really going to get on my soapbox and talk about how I'm saving the world because I'm so great and this is a great time for me, I think that is the real problem. We have a problem right now wherein we have, specifically on certain corners of the internet, have demonized each other so much so that on a word we discount what anybody wants to say. Yeah. We believe that they are idiots, that they are greedy, that they are childish, that they are selfish because of a word, not their heart, not even a sentence, not even a paragraph, not even who they've, what would change their mind. We immediately go to this shortcut that I don't think has made us smarter. I don't think it has made us more empathetic, which if you want to know what I really believe in, here, I'll give you this one morsel. I really believe that we have a tremendous lack of empathy right now in our current culture. I think that it is something that everybody likes to say, but they also like to say, I think we should be more empathetic. Unlike those assholes on the other side who, aren't empathetic at all. Yeah. And it's like, I think that's a major problem. And so what I would like to do, what I try to do, is just to bring any kind of context. So take the separation at the border, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't view it as excusing Trump in ratcheting up laws that were on the books that separated families. As I don't think that is letting him off the hook to say that those laws were on the books before he became president. I look at that as looking at this in context and maybe understanding, hey, let's take a lot of this outrage that we have now, and whether or not it fuels you to go vote for somebody else other than Donald Trump in the next election, or you hope and pray that Robert Mueller comes back with this gigantic whale of a case that forces his impeachment, does not separate the fact that right now we can understand the context for why those laws were there and why they were put in without anybody giving a rat's ass, and why we have treated the people at the border like this for years. Like whether or not somebody's enforcing these rules, yes, that's gross. Yes, that's bad. Let's keep that same energy and understand how we got in this situation instead of believing that everything happens at the ballot box every 4 years. Because I don't think that everything happens at the ballot box every 4 years. And I do think that we have the mental capacity to understand that we can do things in between instead of just jumping up and down and getting red-faced.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to this. Either people, whatever. I'm describing the division that we're having in a simplified way, but people are either for this clown or they're against this clown. And if people think you're for him, they're pissed. And if they're for him and they think you're not, they're pissed. And it's just cut right down the middle like a nasty gash. And I don't know how to solve that on a show except to say that I think today actually turned into more of a segment than it did just you ranting or me complaining or any of that. Like, this is good. This is groundwork stuff about why we discuss this stuff in the first place. Like, if I just wanted to yell at people about my strong opinion, I'd just do that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have Justin on to do it. I just do it. And I don't do it because that's lame. And I would much rather have Justin here to mix it up, have the conversations, think in ways I don't normally think. Maybe he does too. Maybe Brian does also. Maybe you as listeners rethink things. I don't know. Or maybe none of that happens, but I think it's worth the effort. So that's all I can think to say about it. Justin, any final words on that? Hello? Did I lose him?
Justin?
Oh, did I lose him? Oh, there he is.
No, sorry. Hold on.
Oh, did you mute yourself because of the echo?
Yeah, we're getting some weird echo.
I tried to do some stuff on the fly, and it didn't work.
Oh. Well, you're fine now. It sounds okay. I don't know what you did.
Okay.
Yeah. It's weird. Anyway, any final thoughts on today's discussion? Hello?
I mean, it did depress me.
Yeah,
I will say this: the email definitely depressed me because it really did make me sad to think that people think that I'm uncaring.
Yeah,
like that's something that I realize now. It is something that I do need to work on. That I do need to make a point to say that when I try to bring context. It is not because I don't care. It is because I think this is the only way that we can truly move forward. And I do have some strong feelings on how much we can use our outrage. Like, I think that the best thing we can do with our outrage is to take one constructive step forward.
Yeah.
And then understand how we can take steps 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Right.
And be that however you want to do. I'm not here to judge how you want to do that. but I think understanding the problem is a good first step in understanding what you need to do about it. And I get that all roads lead to Orange Man bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of these problems were there before. They're going to be there after. And we're going to be stuck here saying that the next guy is the worst. And this is, by the way, something that I think is somewhat of a constant. It's just now that politics is so mainstream, we're seeing a lot of the stuff that people who have followed it for a long time have kind of understood as a pattern for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make this, I'm going to say something that I don't want people to hear it as false or think I'm trying to create a happy ending here today's episode, which is, kind of hard-hitting discussion. And that's this. This idea that I take the most issue with is anybody saying that they think that the jury is uncaring. And I know they're being specific about these particular political issues. But that's just freaking not the case. I don't know. Without getting into too much detail, I don't have a lot of friends in this world who I can count on to send me a text or a quick phone call or an email when they know something's hard or something's going down more than jury would. Like the idea that you don't care about something, I take major issue with. And I get on a soapbox and defend because it's horseshit. Like I've seen it in you, and it's the kind of caring that, despite the fact that we're all just internet buddies, is kind of a rare thing these days. And so I realize that's different than saying you may care more or less about a Trump appointment or something like that. But where rubber meets road, you'll find few more caring individuals than Justin, and that will always be more important to me than if we disagree about anything on the political spectrum. So I don't say that to just say, hey, Justin, here's a sweet compliment for you. I actually mean that, and I hope people hearing that who may have these issues or share this issue with this email aren't feeling that way, because that's not this. But this thing that this particular email takes issue with is not that, and it shouldn't ever lead to that, because that's just not us. It's not who we are. It's not what the community's about. So we'll vent, we'll fight, we'll argue across the board. Everybody gets their right to feel how they want to feel about whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, we're not dicks. Ooh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry.
I definitely don't view it as fighting. Like
Yeah.
I think that these are great conversations. If anything, sometimes I do. Really, the only complaint that I've ever had privately to you about this segment is that at times I don't like to be the guy who gets put in the defend Donald Trump role.
Right.
Because I don't like Donald Trump and I never voted for him. I think that a lot of the things that he does is gross and bad, and he's not the president that I would like to have. Like, it is so maddening. That's the only time that I get frustrated is when I get cast into this role as devil's advocate for the president, because spoiler alert, I don't particularly like any president, let alone this one, who I didn't vote for.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Seiden says, we keep throwing around the word context, but providing counterbalancing fact isn't context, it's undermining. Context is understanding the situation in a whole, not in competing pieces. Seiden, if you think that I am trying to feed Republican talking points in counterbalance to Republican criticism, then all I can say to you is that's not where I'm coming from. If that's what's happening, then whoopsie doodle. And then the problem, he goes on, the problem that we're poking at here is the underlying rhetoric in this segment is unpalatable to some. Cool. If you want to yell at me about it, you have an ability to. If you don't want to listen or don't want to be here, then I can understand it.
Yeah. I don't understand the rhetoric part. You don't come in here with rhetoric. Well, what is rhetoric? I guess I don't understand what he means by rhetoric. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means in the context of, like, hey, there's a guy on Meet the Nation or Meet the Press or whatever who's super has all kind of reticle today. But I don't know what you're bringing here that's like that. I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Justin either.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Titan says, I don't think the thing you said. This is an example of what people are complaining about. I literally read what you wrote. How is that not what you said? I'm honestly asking. I'm honestly curious. Like, is there not? Is that not? Am I taking crazy pills?
Yeah, you're like that scene where
No. I think. Is he saying that he's not one of the people who feels this way? That it's unpalatable to some? Oh no, never mind. Okay.
No, you said some nonsense about Republican talking points. Look, this is a bad way to have that conversation. Here's what you should do: Sidian should send Justin a message on Twitter because his PMs are open, so you should go do that. Justin, I personally look forward to the next time we do this. Except for the echo part. I don't know why it's so echoey.
Really I'd like to echo Scott's sentiments. Oh, I am.
You'd like to echo my sentiments. Nice. Nice job. A little dad joke in there. Never hurt anybody. Anyway, Justin, what else is going on this week? So now that we've done this, we can say...
I don't know. Whatever.
No.
This echoes. If the echo's a problem, I'm out.
No!
I love you guys.
No, stay! Don't leave! Oh, he left.
Oh, Jury. Oh.
You guys scared him out of here. I don't know how else to say this except to say he is one of the nicest people I've ever known in my personal life.
I think 99.9% of the people who listen to this show and listen to Justin know that, understand it, and appreciate it. I think, this isn't a case of if one person's thinking it, 100 people, or if one person's saying it, 100 people are thinking it. I think it's like one person's saying it and is has a perspective. Sure, that's totally fine, but I don't think 100 people are thinking the same thing.
I hope not, because I think he's great. And
yes,
except his shitty echo.
Well, yeah, I think exactly.
It's not his fault. I don't know what that is.
I've been meaning to talk to you about Jerry and that echo.
It is a stupid echo. No, I think we were just having a weird tech thing today. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
And his love of mayo is world renowned. In fact, I think people should go on Twitter and just say, Justin, just go get a thing of mayo and a spoon, and just sit down and eat mayo. Just right out of the jar, just a big Hellman's jar,
That's the solution. That's where you're going.
Yeah, that'll calm him right down. It'll be a great night of mayo and condiment consumption. It'll be fantastic. All right.
I like mayo, but even that grosses me out.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I couldn't do that. No way. I did have a po' boy. I had a po' boy from. By the way, when did Popeyes get good? Where was I when that happened?
We were all sitting there, focused, paying attention to all the parade of colonels making their way through KFC, and now it's Peter Weller and RoboCop. He's Robo Colonel.
I guess so.
Is it really? All paying attention
Peter
to all
Weller,
the KFC stuff.
Are you saying Peter Weller is the current colonel?
That is absolutely 100% factual. That is Peter Weller is the current RoboCop colonel that we've got.
Does he say anything RoboCop related in the thing?
Have you not seen? He is dressed as RoboCop with Colonel Sanders.
Shut up.
Facial hair and glasses.
Hold on. Oh my gosh! The first search is RoboCop KFC commercial. It's hilarious.
Yeah, this is going to be your favorite thing now.
Okay, I'm just gonna play it. I want to see. I'm just gonna do
folks, try my $20 fill-up. You have 10 seconds to comply. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4, 3.
Also, can I just say a quick thing?
Yeah, sure.
That mom and her kids are watching RoboCop. RoboCop on the TV behind him. RoboCop is
not RoboCop 2. Though.
Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's RoboCop PG or whatever.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's hilarious. All right, I gotta watch that later because you just made my whole day better. That's fantastic.
So while we were all focused on KFC and their parade of colonels, Popeye said, we could just really silently improve our chicken and our shrimp and our clams and all of our food, and they'll be back for us. They'll notice.
Across the board better. Yeah. Something happened because I've been to Popeyes back in the day, and that was not where you wanted to go to eat.
No,
it's a bad time.
Popeyes is way surpassed KFC.
It's so good now.
Very handily.
I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And it's good. I mean, it's good here. I assume in the West maybe we're lucky, but in the South I had horrible experiences at Popeye.
But if you're in the South, you could probably go to a mom and pop owned place for a po' boy and do just fine.
Yeah, but I'm kind of into it now. Except I shouldn't be because I'm trying to lose weight. Anyway, hey, let's get out of here.
Oh, people are saying that RoboCop never said you have 10 seconds to comply. That was at 209. That's true, right? Did
yeah, no, it was never him telling you had the countdown. It was always at 209.
Right. Well, so maybe they,
he's just referencing
the 2.0 RoboCop programming.
How does he
That's
end
not
it?
Carl Urban.
4, 3, 2. Try any 20.
Oh no, that was Judge Dredd. Was Carl Urban?
I can't believe he is the Colonel. That's great. That is so great.
But so many great colonels too. Norm Macdonald was a great colonel. Robert Riggle, I think, is a great colonel.
I also think that Peter Weller is super cool and should be in more stuff anyway. He was in that Star Trek, one of the Star Trek movies, I think. He was the Starfleet guy that kind of went bad.
Oh yeah, right. It was the more recent one with
the Cumberbatch
Bruce
one,
Greenwood.
Right? Yeah, the Cumberbatch deal. He was great.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Beyond? Star Trek Beyond.
Star Trek. No, that was the third one. Second one was
Into Darkness.
Into Darkness. There you go.
Into Darkness.
All right, quick email, and then we're out of here. Josh wrote in. He says, so DoorDash kind of uses tips to substitute paying their Dashers, he says.
Okay.
Saw everything on DoorDash and the guy with the weird Frosty. He probably did it because he was hoping you'd pay additional cash tip. When you pre-tip through the app, DoorDash pays their people less. Let's say DoorDash promises a guaranteed $5 for a job. If you pre-tip $5, then DoorDash pays nothing. If you tip $2.50, they pay $2.50. If you tip cash, they get paid $5 from the DoorDash. Instacart does the same thing. You can read more about it here, and he gave me a link. There's quite a controversy over it, but yeah, the guy probably was hoping you'd end up tipping him cash so he'd get a decent payout from your delivery. I didn't even think about that.
If you tip through DoorDash, it doesn't matter what they promise the delivery fee or anything like that. Whatever you tip should go to the driver. Well, that is
what the policy should be, in my opinion. Yes,
absolutely.
Sounds like it's
same
not.
Should be with Lyft and Uber and all those. If you tip through the app, whatever that amount is that you tip, absolutely 100% of that should go to the driver.
Yeah, and I think in Lyft's case it does for sure. There was some controversy with Uber where it didn't or something. I don't know how that went. However,
I'm fired up.
I am going to pay. Now that I know that, I'm going to pay cash every time. I didn't know that.
There you go. Yeah.
And you know what? This part of the problem is I didn't know that because I, as the consumer, am not informed. So when he comes to the door with a weird Frosty, but I've already given him, I'm like, well, I gave him a tip, so we're good.
Yeah, but if he was to say, yeah, I do this because DoorDash doesn't pay me the tip that you tip in the app. If he were to say something like that to the wrong person, you would probably be fine. You'd probably say, "Oh, dude, I didn't know that. Here's a few extra bucks."
Yeah.
But if he says that to the wrong person and that person reports him back to DoorDash, dude's out of a job for sure.
Can't do the DoorDash anymore. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I now that I know that, I'll do that. I would love to much rather pay them tips, especially on the freebie deliveries. Like I'll look for those. Like it's if it's over $10, we'll deliver it for free.
Yeah.
I'll give him the money. I'll give him a $5 and then send him on his way. I wish I would have done that. Now anyway, that's why you guys email us. That's why you tell
TV's
us.
Travis says, I think what they're saying is the tip goes to the driver, but their fee is reduced. If they get paid $5 normally, he'll get the $5 tip from the in-app, but not get paid the normal delivery.
Right. They reduce the delivery fee. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So he gets the whole tip, but he doesn't get the delivery fee if there's a basically say, oh, you got a $5 tip? Cool. We're just gonna, we'll just take that out of the delivery fee that we were gonna give you. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like he said, if you tip $2.50, then the normal $5 gets cut to $2.50.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That. Okay. Still agree. Bullshit.
Yeah. It's still bad.
Bullshit.
It's still bad. Yeah.
Yep.
Your what you understood of that and what it actually is equally bad in my opinion. Either way, it screws the driver, and now I feel bad about that guy with the Frosty. But you know what? When he did it, he goes, "Hey, I just got this extra Frosty for you," and handed it to me, and didn't stick around like he expected anything. If he would have just stood there for a second, I might have intuited it.
Just looking away and reaching his hand.
Yeah,
out,
or something.
Like,
it's so hard, these things. I want to do the right thing by whoever's needs to be done right by. I just didn't know.
Don't we all? Yeah.
Well, my daughter ate the Slurpee.
Frosty.
Yeah.
And she's fine. She's healthy.
Fine.
No problems there.
She didn't die.
Shoo.
Still feeding the baby. Everything's fine.
That's good.
All right. Let's get out of here. Big thanks to everybody for being here. As always, you can find us via the web at frogpants.com/TMS. I'm sure we'll be getting some emails at themorningstream@gmail.com about that email and Justin's role on the show, because that'll be good. You know what I expect mostly? Defenders. Everyone loves Justin. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to be.
Yes, exactly. Should be a TV show. Everybody loves Justin.
Everyone loves Justin. And it'd be one of those ones where guys working on a car, then the camera comes around and
hey.
Like that. It'll be like that.
Right. Right, yes.
Those are my favorite. TJ Hooker style. And what else? Frogpants.com/TMS. We are also supportable. This show is run off the backs of you fine listeners and contributors to our show. You can do that over at patreon.com/TMS. And you know what? I do have a new Outlast thing, but I'm doing it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Coverville Morning Stream and Scott Johnson all on Twitter. That'll do it for us. Brian, let's get out. What do you got?
No request today, but because there's no request, I get to play something that I want to play. And this is something that I'm kind of happy there was no request today. I want to pay tribute to a just, by all accounts, a really, really nice guy and a great musician that we lost last week. Took his life last week. Talking about Keith Flint from The Prodigy. How about a cover of Firestarter? This one performed by Tora Florim from Destat. Totally changes up the song you know as Firestarter by The Prodigy. This is great stuff. Here is Tora Florim and Firestarter.
I'm sad about Keith Flint. I'm sad.
I am too.
Sucks. Yeah. Why are all these Gen Xers taking themselves out? All our Gen X heroes and musicians. Right? I don't like it. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a brand new Wednesday. Come on back then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Mr. Chekhov, Billy.